Hit him with the clack. Ha ha ha. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to John Reviews. And today I have this lovely Benchmade Bug Out Breakdown mouse pad, I think is the technical term for this. Everyone out there in internet land, I hope you had a really good Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And this year, I went a little overboard with probably buying stuff for myself, but we all had a hell of a year, so I was like, treat yourself. So I actually bought this Benchmade Bug Out probably when it first came out a couple of years ago now, but it's just still great. And I liked the fact that, I don't know why, I bought this off of Blade HQ, and it was just a cool little like knife memento thing. And I know layouts like this are really big in the gun world, and it was cool to actually see it happen in the knife world too. So I got this nice little Benchmade Bug Out. One of the first knives that wasn't like black or like a darker color that I ever bought that I thought was really eye-catching. Sorry there, I'm trying to hold it up so y'all can see better. But it really feels really good in the hand. Even though I have very like thick hands, this isn't like, I don't lose the blade in my hand, if that makes sense. Like the whole thing, here's me holding it like that. That's good stuff. But although I didn't buy this year, I wanted to bring it out for this video just because it matches the mat, and that's cool. So we're gonna throw that one right there. And this video is going to focus on mainly Benchmade products, not just the two things I bought myself for Christmas. So right here I have the Benchmade 915 Triage with the sheep's foot. And this is another knife that I just like had to have. It actually got stolen. I had this exact model, but with the black coating on the blade. I had it stolen out of my truck, and after about being mad for like a week that my truck got broken into, and like obviously not having, I couldn't find this exact same blade with the same sheepsfoot style with the black coating, unfortunately. So I actually just bought this off of eBay because I really do love the knife and I love the design. This it's got a rescue hook here, a little seatbelt cutter, so you can just pop that out, whoop. And this is one of the first knives that I really was just like, oh, like I have to have this for my collection or whatever. And my other one, I carried it literally every day for like 2 years straight. So this one, the 915 Triage and the N680 steel, perfect. So we're gonna put this one here. Okay, now to the meat and potatoes of these are the two things I bought myself for Christmas, because, you know, treat yourself. We got the now discontinued, unfortunately, but very awesome, very beefy Benchmade 275 Adamas in D2 steel. It's just a sick, badass, kick-ass knife. It's one of the first pocket knives I ever owned too, where the thumb studs, if I can pull this up to compare and contrast, is that these thumb studs are like little cones. They're cone shaped, almost like an ice cream cone basically, and these are more the traditional, just standard thumb studs. And I thought when I first had it in hand that it was going to be very like not fun to like flick open, and that was just like me being stupid because it's amazing. I could literally sit here and just do that for 4 hours and that'd be perfectly fine. I remember when this knife first came out and when I first started focusing on Benchmade and knives in general, I want to say it was like upwards of $250, which I thought was just a little too much. And when I was perusing Blade HQ, I saw that this was going to get discontinued. And I really like this colorway. It's like a not as dark, flat dark earth, just like more of a tan color, which is really nice. And ironically enough, I showed this knife to my dad in this color, and he was like, oh, this is really cool. And that's code for dad talk as, oh, wow, I want one of these too, but I just won't say it. So I actually bought this knife for my dad for Christmas too. which is really hard because when I went back to Blade HQ, this was actually out of stock. So I spent like 4 days scouring the internet trying to find it, and luckily I did. So if you can find one like this, or hell, even just the full black version with the partial serrations, I highly recommend picking it up. I've been carrying this for about a month now. We're a little less than half a month away off of Christmas, but this is great. One more. Oh yeah, I could do that forever. So another cool thing I got to do this year is I actually got to go visit my camp up in the wintertime with my two cousins. Big shout out to Matt and Jeremy. Love you guys. But the way we took the route, was not the route we normally go. So we went through, and that route actually had the biggest, baddest Bass Pro Shop I'd ever been into. It had a showroom of just boats, and like who doesn't like that? They had coat hangers for engines, and that's bananas. But there's really no really good sports stores around me that have really good knife selections. So I had made a beeline to the knife case, and I had to do it. I had to pick up the Benchmade Bailout. Oh, it is incredible. A nice thin profile. And it's funny, my cousin Matt was at the counter, and I was actually holding this knife in the Benchmade 940, just like doing one of these type things. And I was like, which one should I get? And as I was holding the 940, I was kind of leaning towards it, but I really, really liked, obviously, the Bailout here. With the M4 steel, the Tonto point. And I like this because I consider this like the bigger, badder brother of, the Bug Out here, because this is just like the Gravery scales, and these are actually aluminum, and it's a lot more beefier, and it's also too, it's got the carbide glass breaker on it, and it's just really slick and neat in the hand. It's like, it has, some pocket knives have great hand feels and some don't. And normally I don't like super thin blades, but this just feels good and different. Like I could hold on to this for hours and just listen to that. Oh, it's just great. But going back to it, I was holding this and the 940, obviously, and I was holding them in my hands, and I'm like, which one should I get? And my cousin said something that kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. He was just like, oh, I was like, which one? I was telling him some info about both blades, and I said, yeah, the 940. I was like, yeah, like they're probably never gonna stop making it. And he was like, oh, if they're never gonna stop making it, get the Bailout, because obviously you think you like that one a little bit better, and you're not sure if they're gonna make it forever. And I was like, wow, he's right. So I did drop the coin on this at the Bass Pro, and I feel bad for Jennifer, the attendant, that watched me fondle these pocket knives for like half an hour. So thank you, great customer service. I didn't feel judged, so thank you. But this is just like awesome. And although this is my newest blade, both of these two are the most new, they still have to fight for time in like the carry rotation of these four knives here. Obviously this video is focused on Benchmade, but I have some Kershaws, I have some Cold Steels, even some like smaller fixed blades, and I still come back to like, maybe that's what I would call this video, is like the core four that I mainly carry is probably going to be these four. They just, because they're all knives that stuck out to me, and how I was just like, yeah, like I have to have those. And I think that's when, like, call it marketing, call it whatever, or keeping up with the Joneses. I don't care what other knives people have, like, but these are like primo kick-ass knives that I think everybody could enjoy, whether you're like an intermediate knife person or you're just getting into the game. Like, they're great. A little bit on the price of all of these. Obviously, it is Benchmade, and they're made in America, and they're going to be more expensive. I bought the Bug Out like pretty much right when it came out, and I think it was $135, which, looking back on it, I regret nothing. That's how I feel about it. I remember like I caught some flack from my grandpa recently when I showed him the bailout because it was $212, and I believe the quote was, "You're crazier than a bed bug. I wouldn't spend $200 on my truck," but that's just, we had a good laugh about it. But he thought it was cool, just not $212 worth of cool. Um, and that was a good thing about the Adamas is that I managed to catch it on discontinued and a lowered price on Blade HQ, and this was about 168, I believe, which is ironically also the same price I paid off eBay for the Triage. But knife and like I think knife and car people, like if those are your things, you're not really too concerned about the price, and obviously like what you can afford or can't afford does play into it. But if you're gonna splurge a little bit, you're gonna splurge like to get what you want, and that's okay. But again, I love discussion. So, what other knives do you think I should know about? What other brands are you scoping out? What models? Do you have any of these knives? Do you think these knives are overrated? I mean, you know, me and my cousin, we have a show called The Peanut Gallery that's all about dissent, so that's okay too. So again, thanks for tuning in. Stand by for more reviews, and as always, get you a good little pocket knife and a little mouse pad. It'll change your life. So I'll see you around next time. Later.